Which brings us to
Yeah.
Tigris.
Oh, Tigris. Yeah, the Hunger Game. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I've heard it said both ways, Tigris and Tigris.
Oh, it could be however you want to say it.
However you want to say it.
Yeah.
Talk about how that came about.
I had taken a break from auditioning and acting. I was only teaching acting. And we'd also bought the home that I'm sitting in, that needed a tremendous amount of work on it. And so my emphasis was on doing a lot of that physical work along with side by side with contractors who were doing it. So time-wise, I couldn't separate the brain space and the physical time to focus on auditions. So we were getting to the point where this house was actually livable, and my agent, fortunately, was patient, but I had not had headshots taken. So she calls me. You have an audition. All right. I think you should do it. All right. No, you are going to do it. Call. I'm expecting it by, like in a day and a half. What? It's not very many lines. Just look at the audition. Don't think about it. Do the audition. Okay. So I schedule someone to take me, and I go there, and I thought, okay, I'm just going to carve out an hour of time. It's actually an hour and a half because it took 30 minutes to get there and back. I'm going to carve out that time. It's going to be fine. I've got all this other stuff I've got to do, but that's fine. I don't think about it. It's got a different name to it. It's not Hunger Games. Whatever. Then I get a phone call. Hi, you have a call back in Atlanta. Director wants to meet you and see you. Okay. By the way, you don't know this, but it's Hunger Games. I'm thinking, Hunger Games, Schmunger Games, I don't know. What is that? I've not read the book. Books, I don't know. So I thought, okay. But if I ask my young friends, they're going to know what Hunger Games, what that's about. So I did, and I did my research. So I go to the callback, one of the best callbacks I've ever had. Francis Lawrence was just yummy and charming and in a supportive way. You could tell he loved working with actors. He loves working with actors. The casting director was the same. They embraced me, and I felt like emotionally embraced me. So I left and I called my agent. She said, call me when you finish. I did. I said, I don't know. I probably won't book this, but this was the best callback. I had the best experience. And I did. And sure enough, about 10 days later, I got a phone call. 10 days, 2 weeks later. Hi, you booked this role. Okay, what does that mean? But what it ended up meaning was flights to Los Angeles to, work on prosthetics, and then flights to LA to work with, special effects and hair and makeup, the hair and makeup team and wardrobe team, who all of them were, being on set just blows me away. Really does. And being on that set, I went in for my first fitting, and I went, I'm just in awe every time I walk on a set. But in this case, it was a warehouse of clothes that were organized and separated, and people were milling about and segmented, and people were coming in for these fittings. And I said, what is going on? Oh, this is the area for fittings for the background talent. And racks would go by, and I'd just go, oh, these beautiful clothes, and look what they've done, and the visual behind it, so rich. Kurt and Bart were the design team on that, and they just knocked it out of the park. So anyway, I was, tucked into my little room with my little pedestal and the mirrors, and they said, can we try this on? Yeah, yippee, give me anything. I will try it all on. And I said, oh my gosh, not every actor is this. You have no idea. This is like I'm in my sandbox. It's so much fun. It really is. The whole process.
What was it like playing a non-human character?
I loved it. So I worked with a coach before, not an acting coach. I am an acting coach, but not. I mean, I go to acting. I use acting coaches now still, but I worked with a movement coach, who is a dance. She's a choreographer, and we worked with the style and method of how a cat moves, and there were things about it that I had already infused into my approach to this material. But when I worked with her, just little bitty touches like the cats will lead with their head first, and then they'll slow, kind of, especially if they're stalking their prey, they won't take their eyes off their prey, right? It's very slow and precise. So that was infused into this role, this small, pivotal, incredibly fulfilling role of playing Tigris. I love playing that. There's another Tigris that's coming out. There's a prequel. It's very exciting. Yeah, she won't be tattooed up and with the hair. She won't have all that.
So it takes about 9 months to a year for a movie like that to come out. Was there anticipation was your personal anticipation building about the role, or when you do something and you know it's going to take a while, do you just kind of put it aside until it becomes time for debut?
I do. However, this one was different. It was the last of the series. Hunger Games, as I figured out during the time that I was waiting, Francis was filming 3 and 4 at the same time. So our filming, it was a little bit longer. And I couldn't say anything to anyone about booking this role. I couldn't say that I even booked a role for about 9 months. So until there was an announcement. So everything, everything was planned, specifically planned. So I would have been worn out if I would have gotten excited for 9 months. The only thing that I was anticipating was, wait a minute, what does that mean? I'd never been in a project and had a role so pivotal in a project like this before. So I didn't know what certain things meant. Like, okay, we're going to announce you. Well, what does that mean? Can you explain that to me? Well, there was not really anyone to explain it. My agent couldn't really explain it to me. My agent said, I had a manager at that time, and my agent said, I think you need a publicist. Well, what does that mean? I mean, I know what a publicist does. I know that. I knew that before, but I'd never been in the position to need a publicist or understand what their role was in going forward, what that meant to my career or to this big project.
So there was momentum building.
Indeed.
And not just with you personally, but around you.
Absolutely. And unbeknownst to me, I mean, I had by then read the books, obviously. I thought this was a really cool character. What I didn't realize was how attached to this character people were and are still. And it's endearing. It was endearing to me. And I realized that as things were progressing. Once my role was announced, it was, everything exploded. And, just, oh my gosh, she's Tigris of all people, in the Hunger Games. So, and then, it gives me goosebumps just sitting here now thinking about it. What an honor. I feel like two different people. Wow, that's an honor. Really? Yeah, it was really an honor. Yeah, wow. No, really, you can touch me. It's okay. Like, seriously, just, it really is, it wasn't, was an honor to play.